Hello, welcome to episode 176 of the Datapack tutorial series, version 1.2.1.4. We're going to be doing a bouncing Raycast. So in the last episode, we did the disarming taser. I thought it would be cool if we could bounce it round walls. So we've done that. Let me find the right key. So here we have some walls. Now we can bounce our Raycast around off the walls, which is pretty cool, to be honest. I like it. Okay, so that is what we're going to be doing. If I shoot myself, I should say, ouch. Can I shoot myself? There we go, ouch. Make sure you're careful. Okay, that's what we're going to do. But before we get on, let me just say, I started making this, and I got quite far. And then I ran into a couple of problems, and I thought, oh, what's the best way to do this? And I thought I'd look up some tutorials. And I found CloudWolf's tutorial, and it's similar to what I'd got, but his was a little bit better. And it was hard to not sort of say, well, I incorporate the better bits into my tutorial as well, because what's the point of making a worse one? And I completely stole a fix for it. When you're bouncing in the sort of x-axis, we're facing there towards negative x, no problem. If you're bouncing at the top and you're bouncing at the bottom, no problem. But when you're bouncing on the Z, because of the way... Let's have a look here. If you look at... It goes across minus into positive. And it was like, oh, God, I've got a problem here. How can I fix this minus into positive? And I remember something Gal Sergi told me about. I think it was just add 180 or just minus 180. I never looked into that because I just stole the fix completely from CloudWolf's video. So even though I started this on my own, it ended up being so much like CloudWolf's solution that I think I have to give credit to him, really. So I'm putting a link to his video in the description so you can go down and have a look at his version as well if you want to see what he says about it. Anyway, let's get on after that waffle and build it now. Okay, here we are in VS Code. Let's see what I've added. We have an advancement, right-click bounce, and inside my function, we have the folder bounce where I put my functions, and we're going to be using the load. Now, a lot of these things are going to be almost identical to what we did in the last episode. To save some time, I'm going to do a bit of copy and pasting. So first we're going to go off to load, and we'll get ourselves a scoreboard where we can store some values. Scoreboard objectives. Add value, it's a dummy, and we'll save that. Okay, we're not going to bother putting a cooldown or anything on it. We did that in the last episode. We don't need another one. And then I think what we'll do is we'll go off to the give command. No point me typing this. It's exactly the same as last time. So we've given ourselves an emerald with a bit of custom data, bounce true, and we've given it the food and consumable component so we can start to eat it and detect the right click. Let's do the advancement for detecting the right click. Again, same as last episode. So let's just paste this in. So we're checking, we've called it right click taser. Oh, well, it doesn't have to be. As you can see, I literally copied it across from last episode. Call that whatever you want. We're using an item. We're checking the player's equipment. We're checking if their main hand has the custom data bounce. And if it does, we're running right click bounce. Let's go to right click bounce. So if any of these bits are too fast for you, last episode is very similar. Okay, so what are we going to do here? We're going to revoke the advancement first. So let's just pop that in. We've done that lots of times. We'll set the Raycast's maximum distance, and we'll use that with a fake player. Ray distance value 256. And we'll set the maximum number of bounces as well. So let's, we'll set bounce count value to 10. Okay, now I'm going to summon a marker, and we're going to run the Raycast as the marker, because what I can do is we can change the rotation of the marker very easily. So let's say the marker is facing this direction, boink, and all we have to do is invert or times the marker's scores by -1, and he'll now face that direction. So with a marker, it's really easy. I thought at first we were going to have to do some maths, but no. So let's summon the marker. We'll execute summon a marker. Well, let's use namespace Minecraft marker, and we'll run function. We will attempt to run a function. Run function Raycast init. Okay, and we're running that as the marker. We'll save that. Now, Raycast init. We'll do this one. Match the player's rotation. So we will TP at S. Bump, 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 bump. And I'm also going to lift it up by 1.5, so it's not at the feet. It's at the sort of neck level, which will make it look like it's firing out the right place. In fact, we might take that off later and show the difference. Let's start the Raycast. Execute at S. Positioned a little bit in front so it doesn't detect me, otherwise I'll just be shooting myself. Run function Raycast. And then after it's done all the raycasting stuff, we'll kill the marker. Kill at S. Okay. Let's go off to the Raycast. Decrement the distance check. We did this in the last episode as well. That's just taking one off the score. Find a player. Again, we did this in the last episode with a bit more of an explanation. So if you're interested in a bit more of an explanation, find a player. We will execute as all players DX positioned. Right, so we're doing a precise hitbox checks. And if we do, we'll run the function hit player. Find a block. Okay, so we'll execute if score. So if we still got some bounce left, matches 1 or higher, and unless it's air, we don't want to bounce off air, unless block in the direction you're going, let's say 0.1, is Minecraft air, then run, return, run a function, hit wall. Let's do a particle so we can see where the thing is. I think I used the crit particle, same as I did for the taser, so it looked pretty cool. And loop the function. So execute if score ray distance value matches 1 or higher. Move the Raycast forward a little bit, positioned 0.1, if block, bump, 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 Minecraft air, run function this, so just run this function again. Okay, so if we hit a player, we're going to go off to hit player. If we hit the wall, we're going to go off to hit wall. Hit wall is what we're interested in. That's going to be the bit that makes it bounce. But let's do hit player anyway, and we'll just do something super simple. We will just hit player. Ouch. There we go. The player will say ouch if they get hit. Right, hit wall. Now this is where I had some of it working, and I couldn't work out the Z-axis. Probably if I spent ages, but I did what most people do. Oh, I'm stuck. I'll have a look, see if there's any suggestions on online. And of course, CloudWolf's video was there. It wasn't a suggestion of this is how you might do it. It was literally, this is how you can do it. So I'd like to say I worked this out nice and quickly, but I didn't. CloudWolf did it for me. So thank you very much, CloudWolf. Decrement the bounce count. Okay, so we've hit the wall. We're going to bounce. Scoreboard. Players, remove, bounce count, value 1. We want to check the x-axis, so we're going to execute unless block 3 of those, and we're on the x, so that's the first one. We'll say 0.5 is Minecraft air. We will store the result in an entity at S. That's our marker. So it's currently facing one way, and we're going to get that. We're going to get the way it's facing. So rotation 0 for X, float. We're going to get its. Oops, hit the microphone. We're going to get its rotation, and we're going to times it by -1 to invert it. -1. Run data. Get entity at S. rotation 0. So if we looked into rotation and the rotation was 45, we times it by -1, it's going to spit out minus 45. If it's minus 45, it's going to spit out 45. So if I am approaching the wall at a 45-degree angle, it's going to say, oh, you're on minus 45. Okay, I'll just make that 45. That's what it's doing there. Okay. I don't know why I've gone there. We're not even going to use that. And I'm going to copy that and paste it again. And I'm going to put a minus there. Okay. And I'm just going to copy all of that. Copy. Paste it in here. Paste. We're going to change this so we're checking the y-axis. So let's put that there. Let's put this -1 there. And we'll check rotation 1. And this is about where I sort of got to thinking, hey, it's all working all right, I'm happy. And I just copied this. Didn't even think about the Z problem, just copied it, put it in there. So we'll just take this one, X, put it in there, take this one, come here, Control X, put it in there, and it makes sense. We'll put a 2 there, we'll put a 2 there, we'll put a 2 there, and we'll put a 2 there. And you think that's good. And then we continue the raycast because we did run, return, run. So we'll execute rotated as the marker, run function raycast. Okay. Now, we're going to have to come back and fix this because this does not work. But let's have a little try and see what we've got so far. Reload. Well, let's do function give. Okay, so we've got a bounce. Boing! Bouncing off. Remember, this way is the x-axis, so we can bounce off here. Nice. We can bounce off the other side. Nice. We've got down, so we can bounce off the bottom, the y-axis, and off the top, the y-axis. But the z-axis, nothing. And I tried for a little bit and my brain was just like, what? And then that's when I remembered something Gal Sergey mentioned when telling me about CCTV cameras and how we can detect. And it was like, well, you can just, I think it was minus 180 and it won't be a problem. I thought, that's probably my solution to this. And I had a little fiddle and it wasn't really very good. And that's when I went looking online. And that's when CloudWolf just, like an angel, came down with the answer, and quite a nice, elegant little answer. So we've got a function called zfix, and we're going to use that instead. So what we're going to do, let's change this. Let's get rid of all of that and all of that. We're going to keep those little bits the same, but here we're going to run function zfix. And zfix. Okay, that looks right. Now let's go off to zfix. We want to set a temporary score. So let's do scoreboard players set. Let's call it zfix. Zfix value 180, but we're going to be doing scaling up so we can get a bit more precise. So we're going to do 18,000. We're going to store the marker's rotation. Execute store result as a score. Fake player, we call them Z rotation. Value run data get entity at S rotation from 0 and the scale 100. Okay, and then we're going to calculate the scale and the score and apply that back to the entity's Z rotation, or execute store result entity at S rotation 0 as a float. Now we've got to scale it back down again, so 0.01. Run scoreboard players operation, and we want the zfix value equals itself minus the Z rotation value. Wouldn't I have worked this out eventually? Maybe. Thank you, Cloud Warp. Okay, let's save that. Let's have a go. Oh, that's always nice when it doesn't work, isn't it? Oh. Oh, what have we done? Let's go back and have a look. Doodly-doodly-doo. Hit wall. Okay, we've got these in the right place. Execute unless block. Yeah, Minecraft air run function. That seems alright. Is it? Oh, is it because I've got that? Should be on 2. No, it shan't be on 2 because rotation, that would be my pitch. I don't want my pitch. That should be on 0. Save. What have I done? Scoreboard players set zfix value. Score. Did we? Hang on. Hang on. I'm sure I did a reload. I didn't do the reload. Oh, infernal. Oh no. Okay, there we go. And so that was a tricky problem, which I'm glad I didn't have to work out, to be honest. But now we've got our Raycast, we can bounce it across walls and things. You can change its distance. Let's play around. So now you can see how it's done. Take that, pull it apart, use it in your own packs. Let's play around with some stuff. We're not going to change zfix. Anything in hit wall we want to change? I don't think so. When we start the Raycast, Raycast in it, no, right click, bounce. Here we go. So here's the number of bounces you're allowed to do. Obviously, if you set that higher, it can bounce off more walls. Set it lower, it can bounce off less walls. Here's the maximum distance it can go. I mean, don't go crazy. It seems to work pretty well with these two values, but you might want to go a bit further. Let's set that to 1. Only allowed 1 bounce. Let's give it a test. There we go. So we're bouncing once and then no more bouncing for you. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory that. Let's keep it back up to 10. Okay, what was something else I said? Let's have a look at. It wasn't the ouch, wasn't hit wall, wasn't in Raycast. Oh, well, I don't know what it was. I remember saying something, oh, we might come back and have a look at that. And now we haven't because I've completely forgotten what it was. So you're just going to have to be happy with bouncing Raycasts. Nope, I don't remember. Brain has frozen. Okay, there we go. We have a Raycast that we can bounce. Oh, I almost shot myself. Ouch, just tased myself. There we go. This is very cool. I'm sure we could use this for some sort of... why are you not bouncing off there? Oh, is it the length? You're certainly bouncing now, aren't you? Okay. I'm sure we could use this for some sort of... I don't know what's going on. I'm too hot. That's what it is. I'm too hot. I'm sure we can use this for some cool puzzle mechanic. Something like that. Anyway, I've got to stop waffling. I'm burning up in the fire that is the day, midday sun. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to turn my fans on and chill out a bit. See you soon. Bye-bye.